Tragically and out of the blue, Vivian Vance died the day after telling her husband her secret. Vivian Vance was born on July 26, 1909 in Cherry, Kansas. Her real name was Vivian Robera Jones. Because Vivian grew up in a strict family, her artistic goals were not always supported. Her very religious mother didn't like her daughter's plans to be a performer on stage because she thought show business wasn't right for a girl. But Vivian's desire to be an actress was too strong to put out. She found her calling in performance when she was a teenager and took part in neighborhood plays. She left home when she graduated from high school to become an actress, taking the stage name Vivian Vance. For a young woman from a strict Kansas family, it was a brave and rebellious move at the time. But it was the start of a life that would inspire many others to follow their dreams even when others don't agree with them. Vance honed her skills as an actress in the 1930s and 1940s by appearing in Broadway shows and becoming known as a skilled comedic actress. For her lively personality and strong voice, she was praised by critics on shows like Music in the Air and Skylark. Her time in the theater taught her not only how to act technically, but also how to get people to pay attention. You can see how these experiences helped her when she moved on to TV, which was still a new medium at the time of her big break. In 1951, Desi, Arnaz and Lucille Ball cast her as Ethel Mertz in I Love Lucy. This was her big break. The part would change her life for good. Ethel, Lucy Ricardo's honest, funny and devoted best friend, became one of the most famous characters on TV. There was no denying that Vance and Ball got along. They made a funny team on screen whose antics and friendship captivated millions. Lucy's crazy energy was balanced by Vance's sharp wit and realistic portrayal of Ethel. They became one of the most beloved TV couples of all time. Their comedic timing was spot on, they seemed like real friends, and their laughing was contagious. Behind the scenes though, Vance had to deal with problems that tried how strong she was. Even though she and Lucille Ball loved each other deeply, their relationship was sometimes stressed by the demands of their jobs and the show's huge popularity. It was hard for Vance to feel good about her looks and self-worth because she was often dressed and made to look older and less glamorous than Ball, even though she was only 2 years older. Also, her relationship with William Froehlich, who played her husband Fred Mertz, was known to be very cold. Much older and grumpy Froehlich was said to dislike Vance's comments about playing his wife, while Vance found it hard to hide how uncomfortable she was with Froehlich's drinking. Even though there was friction between them, they made some of the funniest TV moments ever, which shows how professional and talented they are. Vance kept working closely with Lucille Ball on projects after I Love Lucy finished, such as The Lucy Show and Here's Lucy. Their relationship had grown into one where they respected each other and loved each other deeply. Off-screen, Ball often said that Vance made her performances better and was the right comedic partner for her. For her part, Vance was still thankful for the chance the show had given her, even though she was trying to become known for more than just being Ethel Mertz. Later parts, both on TV and in the theater, showed how deep she was as an actress and how well she could connect with audiences in both serious and funny roles. Vivian Vance's personal life was marked by a string of marriages that showed how she tried to find stability, companionship, and emotional fulfillment amidst the demands of her fame and work. She had all kinds of relationships over the years, from the thrill of young love to the sadness of divorce, and finally the peace of a long-term relationship. Vivian's 4 marriages each had their own unique stories that showed how times and she herself had changed. She went from being a determined young actor, trying to find her place in the world, to an older woman who knew how to balance her personal happiness with her success at work. Vivian's first marriage was to Joseph Shearer Danick Jr., which happened in 1928. It was when she was a young woman just starting out in the theater business. She was ambitious but still finding her feet. As Vivian was in her early 20s, Joseph, the businessman, stood for security, and maybe a sense of normalcy that she found comforting. The union did not last long though. It became more and more interesting to Vivian to be in the entertainment business as her love for acting grew. A life full of long nights on stage, plane rides and practice. Joseph allegedly had a hard time understanding her love for the theater, and as the distance between them grew, it became impossible to heal. The couple got a divorce in 1931, which was the start of a trend in Vivian's life. Even though she was very proud of her job, it often got in the way of her personal relationships. After 3 years, in 1934, Vivian married George Coe, who was also a singer and performer. They were married because they both liked art, and knew how uncertain the life of show business can be. In the 1930s, when Vivian was still building her stage career, George's creative background gave her the mental support and company she needed. They were together for a few years while Vivian's fame slowly grew. But the stress of working in show business, and the stress that comes with constant auditions, moves, and not knowing what the future holds for a job finally got to them. The couple got a split in 1940, which was just around the time that Vivian's dreams of becoming a theater actress started to lead her to bigger roles. The relationship didn't last, but it made Vivian more independent and sure of herself, traits that would later define her on and off screen. Philip Ober, an actor and director, became Vivian's most famous husband when they got married in 1941. This connection, which lasted almost 20 years, was good for business but hard for the two people involved. Philip and Vivian worked together on many projects, including stage plays and TV shows. It was during their marriage that Vivian became best known for her role as Ethel Mertz on I Love Lucy. Behind the scenes though, their relationship was very tense. Ober was said to be critical and controlling, and his anger over Vivian's success only grew as she became a beloved TV star in the United States. Later, friends and co-workers said that their marriage was mentally hard because Vivian was verbally and emotionally abused. Even though it hurt, she kept up appearances, maybe out of loyalty or fear of scandal, at a time when Hollywood didn't like it when famous marriages were in trouble. After being married for almost 18 years, Vivian finally split up with Ober in 1959, a choice that changed the course of her life. The end of that marriage was more than just the end of a hard time. It set them free. She could fully enjoy her independence and mental health for the first time. After 2 years, in 1961, Vivian finally found real happiness when she married writer and literary agent John Dodds. Unlike her other marriages, this one was based on love, respect, and understanding for each other. Dodds respected Vivian for more than just her fame. He liked how smart, funny, and tough she was. They were friends instead of rivals, and their partnership gave her the peace and emotional stability she had been looking for a long time. After settling down in Connecticut, they spent some time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where Vivian had a quieter, more reflective life away from the attention of Hollywood. In her later years, she often said that John was the one person who made her truly happy. She talked about how their relationship was based on deep friendship and trust. They stayed committed to each other until Vivian's death in 1979. And everyone said that Dodds was her rock during her long cancer fight. Tragically and out of the blue, Vivian Vance died the day after telling someone a secret that had been bothering her for a long time. People loved her as Ethel Mertz from I Love Lucy. She was the smart and likable friend whose relationship with Lucille Ball became one of the most famous on TV. Though she had a beautiful smile and great comedic timing, Vivian was emotionally hurt, tired, and angry, and not many people knew it. The fact that she died so quickly after an emotional low point shocked those closest to her and created a sense of wonder around her last days. People have always thought of Vivian as a private and inside woman. The people around her thought she was glamorous, funny, full of life, and always ready with the right line. John Dodds, her husband, knew that she wouldn't talk about some parts of her life. Vivian's health had been getting worse in the weeks before she died, and she seemed to be thinking more than usual. She chose to take a break one evening while she was sitting quietly with John at their home in Belvedere, California. She whispered, "There's something I've never told anyone, not even you." Her hands were shaking for some reason. John would later say that moment was deathly quiet, as if Vivian knew that this confession would be the last thing that would free her from years of mental pain. Her secret had something to do with one of the hardest relationships she had at work, her deep-seated dislike for William Frawley, her co-star on I Love Lucy. Vivian had kept quiet about how much she hated him for years, because she was afraid of the backlash from the public and the loss of the show's well-liked image. "I couldn't stand him," she told John. "Every day on that set was a fight to stay strong. He made things awful for me." People who knew about the problems behind the scenes weren't too surprised by the news, but no one knew how badly it had hurt her emotionally and mentally. Vivian admitted that Frawley's constant insults and condescending tone had made her feel ashamed. She said in a soft voice, "He called me names when the cameras weren't rolling. He made cruel jokes about my weight, my looks, and even my age. Before the camera, I laughed, but now I want to cry." During the shooting of I Love Lucy, Vivian always looked like she was in charge. Even when Frawley's sarcasm hurt her deeply, she never let her real feelings get in the way of work. I played his wife on TV, but when I wasn't filming, I couldn't stand being near him, she told a close friend. I was scared for every scene we were in together. This mental pain that she kept inside for years hurt her spirit. Even after the show was over, those images kept coming back to haunt her. She told John, "It's strange," during their last chat. "No matter how much time passes, the bitterness still lingers. I wish I had told him how much pain he caused me before he died." Vivian seemed strangely at peace after she told this long-kept secret. She gave John a weak smile and said, "I feel lighter now, like I can finally breathe." But that peace was tragically short-lived. The very next day, Vivian Vance died out of the blue. Official reports said she died because of problems from her illness, but those who knew her best couldn't help but think that the timing of her death was eerily poetic. It was like her soul was ready to let go after finally getting rid of her mental load. Her sudden death shocked Hollywood, and Lucille Ball, who had known her for a long time and worked with her, was heartbroken. Lucy could barely hold back tears as she said, "Viv was like my sister. I can't picture the world without her." Lucy had known for years that Vivian and Frawley were having a hard time, but she had no idea how badly it had hurt Vivian. She never let on. In the end, Lucy said she was too proud and too professional. That may have hurt her the most though. She kept everything inside. After Vivian told her husband the truth the day before she died, her life story took on a new twist. It showed how deeply the woman who had made millions of people laugh felt. Even though she was going through a lot of pain and anger herself, her story became a haunting reminder of how fame can hide the private fight star's face and the invisible wounds that mean relationships and mean words. When it was all over, Vivian Vance's last words to her husband still sound sad and brave. "I only want to be remembered for the laughs," she said softly as she was getting ready for bed that night. "Not for the hurt." That may be the most beautiful truth of all. Despite the sadness of her death and the anger she faced, Vivian Vance will always be known as the woman who made millions of people happy, even while she kept her own pain to herself. Sad to say, Vivian's cancer took away his life too soon. In the late 1970s, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She fought bravely, but on August 17, 1979, in Belvedere, California, at the age of 70, she died. Lucille Ball was heartbroken when Vivian died. She later said that losing Vivian was like losing a part of herself. In the entertainment world, the death of a real pioneer was felt. The woman's work had made millions of people happy, and her fans would remember her with love for years to come.